Hi, it's Danielle here from the Teaching Entrepreneur Association, and today I wanted to talk to you about how we deal with different ability levels in our classes. So by that I mean sometimes in a class you'll have those that are a lower ability level, you'll have some that are a higher ability level, and some that are in the middle. And how we deal with this can be seen as quite daunting. You know, student teachers often say to me, but how do you deal with that? How can you make sure that everybody stays at the same point at the same time? And my answer to that is that you don't have to do that. And when we talk about an online class, it can be even more daunting. You know, Danielle, what am I going to do? There's all these faces looking at me, and how am I going to make sure that each one of them learns to the best of their ability? And I said, well, that's the key. It's how each one of them learns to the best of their ability from their starting point to where they end, to the best of their ability. So, first of all, you've got to know your students. I'm often saying that. What is their, as we call it, their entry level? What can they do right at the start of their teaching? What is it that they can do in terms of this subject? And where are you taking them to? Now, some people will start on this continuum, if you imagine an imaginary continuum line here. Okay, so some people will start here, some people will start here, some people will start here, depending on their knowledge. So, for example, I've done and taught a beginner's class. So it was beginnings computing. And the whole point of this class was that nobody knew anything. But you'll find that they'll turn up. Some people will know something, some people will know quite a lot. And some people will be there perhaps for different reasons other than to learn, you know, to confidence build perhaps, or to make new friends or whatever it might be. But the point is that, again, different ability levels. So what do we do? So I've written a handout for you for this, so you can download it if you click on the button below. But what I wanted to share with you is 3 ways to do this that will work in either a face-to-face class or an online class. And my first one is to use what I call tiered handouts. What do I mean by a tiered handout? Well, it's a handout whereby things get progressively more difficult as the students go down the handout. So nobody feels like they are singled out because they're in a lower ability group or and everybody else is in the higher or whatever. Nobody knows who's in what group. That doesn't matter. But what the key here is that everybody who does that handout will be able to do something on it. So you start with easy stuff or easier stuff, the less taxing stuff, if you like, or for the lower ability groups. When I say less taxing, I don't mean that it doesn't challenge them, because everything that you teach should challenge and stretch your students. But what I mean is that they will have the ability to be able to do that. They're not going to get bored because it's so difficult that they can't do it and they just switch off. But you're just teasing them, stretching them a little bit more and a little bit more until they get to the point where they're struggling a little bit, and that's when you interject with support. But for the middle group, they'll probably get through the less difficult stuff a bit quicker, and then they'll get to the chunk where they're struggling or they're being stretched, they're being challenged, and you may need to pop in and help. And then with the more advanced group, again, the same thing happens. They'll get through the beginning bit, and then they'll start to be stretched and challenged. But the beauty of this is that everybody gets the same handout. I find this fascinating to do because I taught a class where I did 3 different handouts. I did some for the lower, some for the middle, and some for the more able group. And you know what? Every single student started with the easy one and worked through. And I find it fascinating because those students actually didn't believe how good they were and that they could actually do this. So what they did was they thought, oh, I better do this one first and then move into this one and then into this one. Fascinating. So that's my first one, a tiered handout. The second one is grouping. I'm really keen that students are put in groups. So in some webinars, like Zoom, you can put people into breakout rooms if you're in an online class, or if you're in a face-to-face class, you can split people up, obviously, into groups. I'm really keen on people working in groups because you can mix them up in so many different ways. So you can put all the same abilities together, but you can also mix and match. You can put some higher ability with lower ability, and the higher ability teach the lower ability. Now, you have to be very careful when you do that, because the higher ability are going to get fed up. But there's no better way to cement and underpin learning than having to teach somebody else it. But again, you as a teacher need to be careful, because you need to make sure that they really do, the higher group do know what they're doing to teach the lower ability group. The other thing I do is put people together in groups as interests. So if they've got the same interest, they can work together on something. And even though it's the same project that they're doing, you might split them up into doing different things within that project, within that group. So grouping, I think, is fun. It's fun for the students. It's lovely to see what they come back with. And you can pop in and out of each of the groups, and especially on a webinar now, you can pop in and out of the different groups, which makes life so much easier. The third way of doing this is videos. Now, some people think, oh, Danielle, I don't want to create a video. I'll be honest with you, I'm not the best at making videos. I do what I can. But the key here is that it's getting the message across. It's not about whether you look wonderful and what the background looks like and all of that. It's getting the key message across. And what you can do is make just little video clips, short video clips, a couple of minutes if you like, and explain it, and use, perhaps for the higher ability groups, you use different jargon. For those in the middling group, perhaps you're stretching them just that little bit more, so that whatever it is you're teaching, you perhaps say it's crochet, you actually add in a couple more stitches. Or if it's photography, you're asking them to view it in a different way, or perhaps have you tried this, firing it into the sun, or whatever it might be. I mean firing, I mean shooting photos in the sunshine and all that kind of thing. It's just about stretching them, adding that little bit more. But if you make the videos just a little bit different, same subject, same topic, just make them a little bit more difficult, stretch it a little bit. They're difficult. They're not difficult. They're at first daunting, perhaps. They're a bit daunting to make. But once you've done it. You've got them forever then. So I really recommend that. If you're not happy about putting your face on, I'm not. I mean, it can be a bit, you think, oh gosh, am I looking right, and all the rest of it. But what I'm trying to say is that sometimes you actually point the camera at whatever you're doing, or just use your hands. Film your hands. But the most important thing here is that those little clips, if you put them out to your students, I'm struggling with this, especially in an online class, you can say, okay, just go and watch that. It'll help you to redo it. And then also the students can watch them at home, or they can watch them outside the class, is what I'm basically saying, and be able to use them, which to me is brilliant. Okay, so as I said at the beginning, 3 little nuggets there. So the first one was using tiered handouts. The second one was groups, and the third one was creating little video clips. Here at T, we're always creating new how-to guides, new top tips, tutorials, checklists, worksheets, templates, and so much more. The reason we do this is to help you learn and progress further, and to really nail what I've been talking about. Don't forget, click on the link below to receive yours and to take this topic to the next level. And I'll see you in the next video.